We have on the line Keith Pompey, master of breaking stories from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Keith, how you doing? Are you tired?
I got another story to break.
Oh, what? Oh, I have you know what? I'm really regretting saying this, but what's the story?
He did ask what, Keith?
I want to be nice.
Michigan won yesterday. Leave
really?
me alone.
Jeff got all excited for a second.
I do have, and I posted something to you which you ignored, unless you're really working on the story, which is the untold story of this is what happens to the remaining meat pies at the Wells Fargo Center. Do they get shipped to Brooklyn?
You know what? It's funny. Remember those people? I don't know if you noticed, but they haven't been serving meat pies all season.
Yeah, they were out of them. They told us.
They still have them on the menu, but apparently we've tried, and they don't have them in stock.
So, all right. So we'll see if the meat pies end up in Boston or in Brooklyn. But we know that Ben Simmons is going to end up there. Take us through how this all happened the last couple days.
It's one of those things where, these people have been talking for a while through back channels, to the point where a lot of people were saying tampering. But it just seems like, James publicly, and not publicly, but to his teammates for a while, was saying, I like it here, I love it here. But behind closed doors, he was telling his friends or other people he wanted out. And I think, what happens is, Michael Rubin, who's a good friend of his, a co-owner of the Sixers, basically, help negotiate to get him out in a way. Him and other people. Now, of course, people are going to say, no, that's not true, yada, yada. But, from what I heard that, Michael Rubin was a player in regards to helping out with things on the back channels and all this other stuff. So, that's how it really happened. But it's weird because you look at it, and Brooklyn is coming out. They're saying nothing's going on. We want to keep them. But then all of a sudden they start saying, it's one of those, we really want to keep them. But if you really want to give them up, it's one of those things where you're going to have to give us a lot. So from looking at it right now, that Brooklyn won the trade, just by looking at it now, but you never know what's going to happen, and you never know how trades really pan out until months or even a season down the line.
Look, in my line of work, when I'm not doing this, in negotiating things, there's always, every side always thinks they gave up too much. But if you look at what they gave up, start with Andre Drummond. It was great to have him as a backup center, but do people forget what Joel Embiid did to Andre Drummond when he was on the other side of the court? Would you not want him in the game in the playoffs as the Nets center?
Yeah, but I think it's not quite, what Joel can do to him. It's kind of like what he can do while he's playing next to, Kevin Durant and Kyrie.
Right.
I think that, when we look at it, we're talking about head to head. I look at a team. Now, again, I'm not saying that who won or lost the trade. I'm just saying I look at this Brooklyn Nets team, and now they have 4 All-Stars in the starting lineup. You have Ben Simmons. Drummond was a 3-time All-Star. And you have perennial All-Stars in Kyrie and KD. And then you have the sharpshooter who's going to take the place of Joe Harris. So when you factor in that you got rid of a guy who didn't want to be there, a guy who was struggling this season for you, and you're able to bring in 2 All-Stars in the sharpshooter form, I think that people in Brooklyn are extremely happy, just like some people in Philadelphia are extremely happy that they were able to get a perennial All-NBA player in James Harden.
All right, so when should we expect to see, with their new numbers, both of them, Ben Simmons and James Harden, on the respective courts?
You know what? I don't know. That's a great question. I think with Ben, it's going to take a little while. He's going to have to practice. He's going to have to do some things to show them, if he's up to speed condition-wise to play. James, he's coming off of that hamstring injury, and it may take him, some people, I don't expect him to be back. Well, he won't be back at least until Tuesday. And I don't even know if Tuesday's a target date. I'm just come up here with the speculation. Like if his hamstring is tender, and we know how the Sixers are, people like that, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see him until after the All-Star game. Now, again, this is just me talking, but I wouldn't be surprised,
Okay, well, the person that apparently would be surprised is anybody on the TNT broadcast, because they seem to think that the way they were talking is James Harden's hamstring injury is going to magically go away.
Well, a lot of people are saying that. I mean, a lot of people. They're not the only ones. I mean, I wrote that when sources said to me that, they don't know. Like they think that it's one of those things where he just didn't want to play, So again, that's what I'm saying. I really don't know. Like the word around the NBA, everybody's saying he just wanted out. I mean, maybe that could have been it, but I just, it's a tough situation for me to speak on. But that's what people are saying.
So what do you think the starting lineup and rotation is? Is this a Maxey, Harden, Thibault at the 3, Tobias Harris at the 4, and then Joel at the 5? Is that their starting lineup now?
I think that's it right there, unless maybe if you want to get more shooting on the floor, then you might say, okay, Danny Green or Furkan, you know what I mean, and replace a Maxey. But I think like Maxey has shown that he is a starter in this league. So, I think that would be a little, you helped carry us all season. Now you got to go to the bench, So I don't know if that's going to work.
Does Matisse, as a great defender, now become more valuable in the starting lineup, though, because you don't need his scoring as much? With Harden in the lineup and Maxey there also in more of a scoring role, does it make sense to keep Matisse in the starting lineup because it provides a little bit of defense and also the opportunity to switch off, because Harden isn't exactly the best defender?
It is, but at the same time, I mean, you do, but I also think you also need a shooter in that starting lineup. I mean, I know Tobias Harris can shoot the 3. I know that Maxey is shooting 40% from the 3, but you when to me a 3-point shooter is a guy who can do it, show that they can do it over seasons, not just have in the midst of having a great season with it. So I think we'll learn a whole lot. I mean, I think that we'll learn a whole lot more about his shot over time. But at the same time, I think that you would want to have somebody who's a designated floor spacer. To me, right now, if it's me, next year, I know you can't do it now, but you got to go out there and get a 3-and-D who's going to actually, be able to do that on a consistent basis. That's what they need. I mean, I get the defense thing, but you want to get somebody that's going to be able to let that two-man game really work out to the best of its ability.
With the way that these two are going to run the pick and roll, it seems like they're going to live at the line, and they're two good free throw shooters. Am I seeing that wrong, or are we going to go from a guy who didn't really want to shoot free throws to two guys who are literally going to live there and put a lot of points up?
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I see that with you. We're going to see that. But you know what? It's kind of hard. A lot of people, we always try to, predict what's going to happen or say, oh, this and that. I get a little leery of that because this is my 9th season covering the Sixers, and I've seen a lot of things. The biggest thing was the whole Markelle Fultz thing. Now, I know this is completely different, but on paper, yes. But I try not to look into things because I've seen a lot of things go left with this team.
Well, the one thing you're now seeing that has been happening in the last 9 years that you've been covering it is the process is officially dead. Correct? I mean, all that's left now is Joel Embiid from the process.
Yeah, and that's why he coined the phrase. That's why he took over the name. He got the trademark, the process.
Though I am seeing some of the process supporters saying, well, the process led you to your two superstars with Harden and Embiid. Oh, so that's generally what your process people are saying. Keith, what do you expect to see from this team in terms of Doc? He hasn't liked some of the questions and scrutiny he's gotten this season. I would think this ramps up the pressure on him now that he's going to have those tools to play with in Harden in the lineup. What does this do to Doc?
I mean, I think right now, before the pressure was on Daryl Morey to get somebody. Now the pressure is on Doc Rivers to get him out of the second round. So, I think that, the clock just ticked. It's time now. It's one of those things where, some people may say that James, some people, he didn't shoot as well as he did this season as he did in seasons past. But at the same time, you look at it and you have to say to yourself, like, look, right about now, you went out there and you got yourself this perennial all-NBA player, former MVP. You have Joel Embiid playing at an MVP level. So when you have things like that, you look at Doc Rivers and it's like, hey, bruh, we can't go out in the second round. And, it's like one of those. It's like, we can't do that.
Is that the question you're asking at the next press conference?
hey, bro.
Nah.
I can't wait to see his response for that one. I might have to DVR that before you ask it, Keith.
I won't do that.
Do you think Morey's done, or do you think that once people start getting cut, that they'll go after a backup center? That they'll see if there's a 3-and-D guy that fits into this, or do you think for the most part we're now seeing the roster?
They're looking for. I mean, they have an available roster spot now, and they're looking for a backup center in the buyout market. Whatever they can get. But I do think that we'll see some more. Like, it's one thing people don't realize, like guys like B-Ball Paul, Charles Bassey, Isaiah Joe, they're all like on 9 guaranteed deals next year. Right. And you look at a guy like Shake Milton, where they have a team option. I mean, Shake hasn't played in like 2 months, right? So I'm saying this to say, like, a lot of the changes could come next season. I mean, come over the summer. Now, again, right now, last year we all thought, like, okay, they were going to upgrade in the buyout market. They couldn't get anybody last year in the buyout market. I don't really see. You got Tristan Thompson, maybe, but I don't see a lot of guys in the buyout market that could really say help this team right now in regards to a backup center, at least not to the level of the guy that they had. So with that being said, it's like, yeah, you can try, but, you got to be a little bit fortunate because there's going to be other people picking them up, and they may say, look, you go somewhere else, you're going to get more shots, you're going to get more minutes, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. So, it's tougher than it seems.
So you mentioned somebody that actually is interesting to me, which is Shake Milton. What's the latest on Shake, and is he going to come back?
I'm sorry, I don't have it. I don't have it. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things. It's like top secret. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll ask this question. What's your prediction for the Super Bowl? That's where we got to go. That's where I was wondering.
Do they have any Michigan guys in the Super Bowl?
I knew there was going to be an angle there. There is a Rutgers guy in the Super Bowl, Keith. I know that.
Who does he play for?
The Rams, Sebastian Joseph Day. We've had him on the show before. Good dude. Has a cooking show also. But he's not playing.
That's a shame. They're going to lose.
The Rams going to lose?
I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah, score?
I'm going with the Bengals.
What's the score?
I really wanted the Rams to win, but now they just got cursed with that Rutgers dude. Hey, man.
Keith, we have the prop bet guy on later, and we were talking about there's a prop bet you can bet on whether somebody does the Ickey Woods celebration. So a lot you can go with during that game.
Nah, man, I'm disappointed there's a Rutgers dude on that team.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, man. We occasionally get a guy that wins the Super Bowl.
Is he a kicker?
No, he's a defensive lineman, and he plays pretty good. He's next to Aaron Donald. He won't play in the game.
Hold up. He says he's next to Aaron Donald?
Yeah, he's not Aaron Donald. Don't worry.
So Aaron Donald is carrying him, huh?
I'll let you take it up with him. I'm not going to fight that argument.
Because you got to have a pit man, like make it easy for the other guy.
Look at him spread those peacock feathers. All of a sudden, Pitt comes out of nowhere.
The next time that he comes on the show, I'll let him know that you'd like to talk to him about what he does.
We're going to do that. We're going to do that in studio.
You know what? But I bet you, look, the money that he's making, I bet you he knows the Pitt fight song because that's where he's getting paid by playing next to Aaron Donald.
We will leave it there. Keith Pompey, congratulations on the conclusion of the Ben Simmons circus trade era version. Good luck in the James Harden is here version. We look forward to following you at Pompey on Sixers, reading you in the Inquirer. Take care of yourself, man.
All right, and one thing I will say this, Shaw. The thing about Shake, I just want to say this. I hope I don't mess with the commercial break. The thing about Shake is just that he's been having a hard time. Like right about now, he's starting to do some on-court stuff. So, you know what I mean? I think, it's taking a little longer than I expected. But, it's one of those things where he was a ways away. So, I don't know if he's doing 5-on-5 scrimmages, but he is doing on-court stuff.
Well, we'll get the latest on your Twitter feed and the paper. Thanks for keeping it up, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, hell to pit.
There you go.